Tell us about soulgasm. What are they?
They're life-changing. A decade ago, I had my very first soulgasm with a tantric lover who studied tantra. He'd mastered the art of separating his orgasm from ejaculation so he could be multi-orgasm and have stamina for hours, which now I teach my male clients. He dated a tantra coach for a year. I had no idea whenever we went on our first date that he had these techniques and this experience. Years before, I had bought a book on Tantra and put it on my shelf. I didn't open it because I thought I needed a lover to have sex. A big misconception is that we need a partner to begin. So I just put it on my shelf, but the universe provided. He appeared. I had an experience with him where we weren't on any substances or medications, and we experienced 5 hours of prolonged bliss nights in a row. And that allowed me to have like a Kundalini awakening, which I'll share more of my first soulgasm. And I really didn't know how to describe it. We can have a heart connection with someone, but a lot of times sex is very superficial. And I was operating from a superficial place, very in my masculine, thinking that my femininity was weakness, thinking that my vulnerability was weakness. And I was moving around in my sex life like Samantha in Sex and the City. I did not know how to explain it, except I just feel like I had an orgasm that rocked me to my soul. Then as I started studying Tantra more deeply, I read texts from decades ago by Osho, and I've heard other great people talk about Tantric and sacred sexuality, and they refer to it as a soulgasm. I was like, oh, that was a thing, but that's just the best way I knew to describe it. And it literally changed my life. And then just a full circle moment this year on March 1st was a decade since that experience. And then LA Weekly featured on that same date an article about me with soulgasms in LA Weekly, which just happened in LA.
How beautiful and full circle.
It felt literally like a rebirth. I'm born on Halloween 10/31, so 3/1, and then I had my soulgasm on 3/1. So interesting. I had no idea. And then all of a sudden I just got clarity and really connected with my soul and my life purpose, and everything shifted for me.
That's amazing. What I found so fascinating is so many instructors, speakers, they start on this journey of teaching based on an experience that they had. And it sounds like that's where you started. And then you're like, oh, this was an incredible experience. I want to learn more about that experience. And that helped you dive deeper into learning about Tantra.
Yes, most definitely. He shared with me, he said, you're naturally tantric. You naturally do this. I was already having better sex than most of my friends. I was a recurring guest on Playboy Radio. And my friends were like, you should write a book. I was giving them really great sex techniques. I was multi-orgasmic. And then I realized I had only scratched the surface of what was possible for me as far as the levels of pleasure I could experience. And the intensity, it was like the tip of the iceberg, literally. And so then I sat up in the bed with him the second night, and I just looked him in the eyes and I said, I just want to clone you and give one of you to all my friends. Because I felt like so sad in my heart that so many women will never experience this in their lifetime. And that's what sent me on this path, because I was like, I need to be able to share this with people.
That's so powerful and so interesting. And I can relate in many ways. I've been with my husband for over 20 years now, but about 3 years ago, we had an experience together. And I remember it was like the next day, I felt like the entire world had just opened up. So I guess it was a soulgasm. I didn't know. I didn't know what to label it or anything. And I was like, with this man forever. So we always had great sex. I had no idea that it could be this, and it just opened up everything, and I was like, I want to learn more. I want to know more about this. So yeah, so it sounds like that was the beginning of my soulgasm experience too. I just never had a label for it. It sounds like soulgasms can be very transformative, so tell us a little bit more about that process.
Yes, it just got me curious about everything, like Alice in Wonderland. I was 44 when this happened. I was like, if I had no idea that it was possible for my body to experience this, what else is out there for me that I don't even know is a possibility or exists? So I went on this major journey of self-discovery, diving in deeper. I dated him. We broke up, and I decided to take a break from dating for about 6 months or so. I was celibate, and I hadn't done that in the past. I used to do this thing. I used to think, oh, the best way to get over a man is to get under one, which is not a good idea. But that was my old way of thinking. I would justify the fact that I was going from relationship to relationship and I had modeled and stuff when I was in LA. So my ego was like, I'm so desirable. Of course, I have all these opportunities, and not realizing that I wasn't pausing to look at what were the patterns, the repeating patterns and the type of men that I was dating, and what was the role that I was playing in that, and how to start to heal from that. So I started focusing on Pink Tantra, which works with self-love and your heart chakra. I started working on healing myself. Then I started to attract better lovers. I have not had a toxic relationship in a decade. I've had some relationship dynamics where I can see, okay, this shouldn't be long term, but never the drama or the other things that I had in past relationships. Like attracts like. So when we start working with this relationship within ourselves, and Tantra helps you to do that, then we start to attract better lovers, because relationships are just mirroring back to us the relationship we have with ourselves. So it starts here. And my life was just forever changed. Self-love also helps with relationships, like with my coworkers, my friends, my family, everyone across the board. It enhanced that. And then I started attracting better job opportunities, better experiences, more synchronicities. And I just started feeling like this co-creatrix in my life. And it's really good with manifesting it too as well. So it's this elevation journey that I got to go on.